Hi, welcome back to It Was a Dark and Stormy Book Club.
We're your hosts, Ann Dark
and Tracy Stormy.
And welcome to the first edition of Bookends.
Yay! We made it.
I hope you're enjoying reading the book that we've assigned for our regular podcast. That is The Dead Dogs and Englishmen by Elizabeth Kane Buzelli. And that's the book we'll be discussing in our next full-length episode. But this is a short episode to cover a few things that are newsworthy that we wanted to discuss. My co-host will start with our first event.
First off, we want to make sure you know that we are not experts and that we apologize ahead of time if we butcher anybody's name. We truly do not mean any disrespect.
That is for sure. We are not linguists at any
Can you
stage.
tell?
Okay.
On April 27th, the Mystery Writers of America presented their annual Edgar Award winners, and we would like to announce those to you if you didn't already know.
The first was the best novel, and that was awarded to the book Bluebird, Bluebird by Attica Locke, and it's done by Hatchet Book Group of Little Brown and Company, Mulholland Books.
Best first novel by an American author went to Jordan Harper, who wrote She Rides Shotgun by HarperCollins Echo.
And the best paperback original was to The Unseeing by Anne Mazzola by Source Books, Landmark.
Best fact crime went to Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI by David Grann, Penguin Random House, Doubleday.
Best critical biographical novel went to Christopher B. Himes, a biography by Lawrence P. Jackson by the W.W. Norton and Company.
Best short story went to Spring Break, New Haven Noir by John Crowley, Akashic Books.
As good as I could come up with. The best juvenile mystery was Vanished by James Ponti. It is a Simon & Schuster Aladdin book.
Best young adult was awarded to Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, Simon & Schuster, Athenaeum Books for young readers.
The best TV episode teleplay was Somebody to Love on Fargo, teleplay by Noah Hawley, FX Networks, and MGM.
The Robert L. Fish Memorial Award went to The Queen of Secrets, New Haven Noir by Lisa D. Gray, Akashic Books.
And the Mary Higgins Clark Award went to The Widow's House by Carol Goodman, HarperCollins, William Morrow paperbacks. It looks like we've got a lot of reading to do.
Yes, and there was one other that we inadvertently missed. The Ellery Queen Award went to Robert Pepin.
Glad you said that.
I feel like I'm at the Oscars.
Yes, definitely.
And congratulations to all the winners. And yes, we have a lot of reading to do.
Definitely. The other issue we wanted to cover on our short episode was to highlight other book clubs that are going on in the country. And our first book club we'd like to highlight is the one we belong to. It's called Mysterious Minds, and it is run by the Harford County Public Library, the Bel Air branch. It meets the first Wednesday of every month at the library. We have a group of up to 20 members. It varies at different times. We always get either a book to read or we can select from a list of books if it's part of a series or a subject that we want to cover.
The group first met on January 8th of 2008. I became a member probably about 2010. Mom came along about a year later.
Yeah, and we love our book club. We have
a great group.
A very interesting group of people. They
very
always
eclectic.
Yes, very eclectic. We have, I would say, Our age ranges from early 30s up until the 70s. We have a wide range of people, and it's an interesting group. We have housewives, we have business people, we have one of our members is a world traveler, and he always has insights and stories to tell about his travels.
He can usually take the scene of a book and tell you something interesting about where that book happened, because he's probably been there.
Yes, it's a great group. We meet at the library, but we have had meetings at restaurants and at members' homes in the past. We have a good time. We look forward every month to the discussion we'll be having.
Our moderators are two of the librarians, Amy and Nancy, and they are amazing. I have to say, I have been challenged to read books that I normally would have never picked up and have truly been pleasantly surprised by some of the ones I've read.
Yes, eclectic in their selection of books. We have cozy some months. We have deep political thrillers. We have just about every genre of mystery has been touched in this group. They select the books based on availability. They like to have a copy available for every member, but when that doesn't happen and they can't get enough of one book, then they'll run a series where you can select a book from a list.
They run a series every other time. They'll run a one book that everybody reads, and then the next month they may do pick from this cozy list or something like that.
Yeah, they like books that have interesting plots and three-dimensional characters, and they also consider the depth and the uniqueness of the read in considering whether it would open itself to an open discussion. Some books are just cut and dried, and there's not much you can say about them, but we always find something to talk about.
And I encourage all library systems who do not have a mystery book club to start one, because, oh my goodness, this has truly been a ride. We never all agree on the book. I would say we've gotten into some pretty heated discussions about how we feel. We have members that don't quite care for the violence of a police procedural, but then we have ones that...
they like them bloody.
Yeah. So it's been interesting.
Yes.
And now we have something exciting to tell you. Mom and I went on a little field trip on...
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you are aware of the Nutshell murder dioramas.
Frances Glessner Lee, who lived from 1878 to 1962, was a woman who was ahead of her time. They call her the grandmother of forensic crime. She created little crime scene dioramas. There's a series of 12 of them, I believe. They show different crimes that happened. They're based on real events, but the dioramas themselves are not particular to one crime. They are stored at the chief medical examiner's office in Baltimore, and they are not primarily for public viewing, but we went to a lecture at the University of Maryland. The lecture was on the restoration of these crime dioramas. And after the lecture, the speaker said, "Would you like to see them?" And the stampede going out of the room was immense. Everybody just couldn't believe we were going to be able to view these things. It was so exciting. We just loved every moment of it.
I got to see them in January at the Smithsonian.
Alone there for a short time.
And there were so many people in attendance that it was hard to get near any of them. We got to go on a much smaller scale and spend...
And it was still hard.
It was still crowded, but because the room wasn't very big.
People are just fascinated, and they don't want to leave one area. You want to see every little bit that's available. Now, there is, if you're interested in this subject, there is on YouTube a documentary that is called Of Dolls and Murder. It is narrated by John Waters. It's a very comprehensive viewing of the dioramas themselves.
And it actually shows you how police even today use these to learn how to process a scene.
Yes, they are crime scenes that they use as teaching tools even today, 70 years after she made the first one. Some of these were designed and made before I was born, and I consider myself pretty old. But they're fascinating things to see. It was just such an honor and such a treat to be able to see these things in person.
Well, I think that's where we're going to leave you. We don't want to let this run too long. We told you it would be a short episode.
Remember to finish reading Dead Dogs and Englishmen by Elizabeth Kane Buzelli. And our next episode, we will give a review and have a discussion on that book.
We can be found on itwasaddarkandstormybookclub.com. Don't type in Dark and Stormy Book Club. That does not work.
Right. It was a Dark and Stormy Bookclub.com.
So that should take you everywhere you need to go. Remember that if you know of anybody who doesn't listen to podcasts, pass this along. That love mysteries. Absolutely. We love mystery readers. We love any kind of readers, actually.
Yeah.
That's it. We will see you next time when we're going to review Dead Dogs and Englishmen by Elizabeth Kane Buzelli and assign our next book.
I'm looking forward to it. And remember,
life would be boring without a little mystery. Bye.
Bye.